boiled down to 2 drivers. Tommy Kendall returned after taking 6 years off. He had 2 victories and nearly won the title, but Paul Gentilozzi came on strong at the end and won his 4th season championship with a 4th place finish at Laguna. This year, Kendall's back on the sidelines. Gentilozzi may not run the full season. It's the 40th year of Trans Am competition. We could well see a new winner, or will Jaguar continue its dominance? The first round of 2005 is ahead next, here on Speed. And welcome to the streets of Long Beach, part of the Grand Prix of Long Beach weekend. It's the Trans Am Cytomax Challenge here on Speed, the first of a 10-race championship in 2005. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Derek Daly is alongside for the full season this year of Trans Am competition. The Jags have been so dominant, Derek, but the top 5 were inverted. We've got some hungry drivers up front.
And we have a rivalry here that has gone on for many years now in Trans Am with Gentilozzi and with Borisset. That could boil over very easily. But I like to see the Jags versus the Ford Mustangs here. Now, although it's inverted, the Mustang has been the fastest in qualifying. But I really like Greg Pickett on the pole here because Greg Pickett should have won this race here last year. He's very good on the streets of Long Beach.
He is a former winner here, a former series champion. His company, Cytomax, is backing this event, so he's got a lot at stake here today. Well, let's get the thoughts of some of the key players in today's Cytomax Challenge. Downstairs first to Calvin Fish.
And Rick, the fastest qualifier is Borisset, but with the inverted top 5, you'll start 5th today. Any thoughts of sandbagging during qualifying to have a better starting spot today?
I mean, we talked about it, but that's just not the way I run. I mean, I like to go wide open all the time. So we just, HCS team just said just go for it, and that's what I did, and we're on the pole.
And starting right in front of you is your old sparring partner, Paul Gentilozzi. He has a chance of breaking that Donahue record here today. I'm sure you'd like to stop him, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that we haven't got along in the past, and we probably still won't. I respect him on the track because he's a fierce competitor, and, I consider Long Beach my hometown because I live an hour south here in Carlsbad, so there's no way I'm going to let him win. I mean, I'll either win or crash, but I'm not taking any prisoners this week.
Okay, Borisset looking for his 2nd win on the streets of Long Beach. Let's go down to Jan Bikus.
Well, thanks, Calvin. I'm here with Paul Gentilozzi, a very special relationship with Long Beach. But first, Boris has said you guys don't like each other. He's not going to let you win, not going to let you break the Donahue record. Now, what's your counteract here?
Well, Boris and I have raced against each other 88 times. He's beaten me 15 times. I doubt that he's in control of my destiny. It's nice that he doesn't want me to win, but more than not, I'm going to do it.
Tell me about Long Beach. You got your first win here many, many years ago.
Well, 1988 was a long time ago. When I came here to race then, I drove the truck here. It was just Butch and I and another guy. It's really special. It was the start of my career, my first big win. I owe everything to Long Beach, and I intend to go out winning.
All right, congratulations in advance if, in fact, you get that record. Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Gentilozzi and the late Mark Donahue tied at the top of the career victory standings in Trans Am with 29 wins each. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for the Cytomax Challenge. 22 drivers will answer the call. Top 5 inverted after qualifying. Greg Pickett has the pole in the Cytomax Jaguar. Randy Ruhlman in the preformed line product Chevrolet alongside. Row 2, Paul Gentilozzi in the Jaguar Performance number 1, the defending series champion, and his teammate Tommy Dreese, Sahara the Movie, is car number 5. Row 3, the fast qualifier Borisset, the ACS Computer Systems Mustang, and John Bauckham from Charlotte, North Carolina, in car number 86, the MAP Quality Engineering car. 4th row, Michael Lewis has car number 12 from San Diego, the Autocon Jaguar, and Klaus Graf driving the 3rd Rocket Sports entry. He is from Donham, Germany. In row number 5, Mike Davis, the ACS team owner. The other Mustang is car number 10. Max Lagarde, Hypermax, the 83 from Barrington, Illinois. That is a Chevrolet Corvette. 6th row, Joey Scarallo in his 3rd year in the series, the 06. He's from Smithtown, Long Island, the Group A Wheels car. Phil Sims is from Florida in car number 24. He's from St. Cloud. That is the Sims Motorsports Corvette. Now there's something new in Trans Am competition this year. The GTA West Coast cars have been invited to compete. There are many of them here. The 7th row, John Young in the 44. Tim Barber in the 63. Back to row 8, Rudy Reback, who's a rookie in the 99. Veteran Vic Wrights in the 09 will start in 16th spot. Row number 9, Steve Kelso in car number 9. Tom Wickersham in the 16. And we move back to row number 10 here at Long Beach as we get set to go racing. Brad Jones in the 57. Dale Hartman in car number 25. That's an Oldsmobile Cutlass. Last row, Steve Schmaltz from San Carlos, California in the 54. And Monica Colvin, she's running to GT1 specs. It'll look a lot like a GTA car, though. She's in the 08 from Delta, British Columbia. 22 cars and drivers ready to do battle here in the Cytomax Challenge, the season opener for the Trans Am Championship. We'll be right back for the start of today's event after these words. Welcome back on Speed on the streets of Long Beach, the season opener for the Trans Am Championship. It's the Cytomax Challenge, 100 miles of racing, 51 laps, Derek Daly, and this battle between Boris Said, Paul Gentilozzi ought to be terrific.
It really should. We've seen many times these two boys go head-to-head, but they better be careful today because with as good as Greg Pickett ran last year here, I wouldn't want to let him get too far ahead. But there is one thing for sure and certain. When these cars take the green flag, you can feel the ground just shake and vibrate for half a mile around. They are that quick with that much power.
Pickett through the inversion in that silver number 6 is the pole sitter. Ruhlman bidding for his first career win is alongside. You're on board with Tommy Dreese. Hauling to turn 1. Gentilozzi goes by. Boris goes by.
Oh, look at Gentilozzi down inside Randy Ruhlman, who gets shuffled out by Boris Said. Nice little love tap on the side and up through the fountains.
That's Boris in the ACS 33. That's a Ford Mustang. He is third after the first couple of corners here at Long Beach. Randy Ruhlman settling into fourth. Sat on the outside pole. He was fourth quick in qualifying. Trans Am going back to the top 5 inversion in their 40th season here in 2005. There's John Bauckham back a little further. Bauckham's made a move. He's gotten around Tommy Dreese. Pickett's the leader. Gentilozzi is in second spot.
Oh,
Ruhlman up alongside Boris.
Yeah, he got him.
Hey, I think Boris has a problem. Boris may have something wrong with the 33. He is off the pace.
Tommy Dreese deep in the field here for some reason. He got a bad start.
Remember, there are a dozen GTA cars. Those are basically ASA stock cars.
Mike Davis, the team owner with Boris Said, running side by side.
Tommy Dreese with problems with the Sahara decal on the car, but no problems with the race car. We're hearing that Boris may be bringing the 33 to pit road early.
This is Klaus Graf in the second of the Gentilozzi, the Rocket Sports Jags. Similar color scheme.
I think Boris has a tire down. He definitely has a tire cut down.
And is it the right rear tire? Do you think that's when he hit Ruhlman?
Could well be. Jan Bikas, you're in their pit stall.
Yes, and they have a tire ready, so they know that it's just a single tire. They are ready. They do have quick air guns and quick jacks here. Of course, these cars in the past did make pit stops that they had to do very quickly, so the air jacks are on board. Looking to see which, in fact, it is the right rear, as you said. It is well shredded at the moment. And essentially what they're trying to do here, guys, as you know, is just not go a lap down. They'll assume there's going to be a caution at some stage. Now we have Boris Said on a little different pit strategy.
Definitely on a different pit strategy. 100 miles of racing. You don't want to stop if you don't have to, essentially, in the Trans Am Series. You can see that car still had the air jacks, Derek, from a few years ago when pit stops were mandatory. Pickett's leading. Second spot belongs to Gentilozzi in car number 1. Randy Ruhlman, John Bauckham, Klaus Graf, the top 5.
We're going to try and get a good look at Ruhlman to see if there's any damage on his car, but definitely that autograph laid on by Boris Said has cost Boris Said very dearly, but Klaus Graf is there right up behind him. Calvin?
Well, he's having a great run, and his qualifying performance really wasn't indicative of his speed. They had a fuel injection problem, which they finally found to be a little speck of dirt in the fuel rail, and they finally clarified that and got him back up to speed in the final practice yesterday afternoon. He was, in fact, the fastest car on the racetrack, so this is his first Trans Am race, first German, in fact, to race Trans Am since Walter Roll back in the late 80s, the really famous rally guy, and he's going to be here for the season. I think he'll definitely be a factor in this championship.
Graf came aboard for Rocket Sports along with Timo Glock, the youngster who's running in the Champ Car World Series.
Trivia question, what car did Walter Roll race in Trans Am?
An Audi, I believe.
Yes, he did, the four-wheel drive Audi, which was just a spectacular car. He and Hurley Haywood, from what I remember, campaigned those for several years.
That was back when you were still behind the wheel.
Back when I was in short pants.
Here's Graf to the inside of Ruhlman. Graf for third spot. He's got him.
Let's see who has the horsepower now. Down the back straight. Very bumpy brake zone coming up here. Graf has the advantage. Ruhlman will know that. It's going to let him go. Let him go. Yes, you got to do that. Now, Graf, the next man up the road is his boss, Paul Gentilozzi.
Pickett and Gentilozzi 1-2. Randy Ruhlman shuffled back to fourth. That bold inside move by Klaus Graf in car number 7. John Bauckham and Tommy Dreese are next in line, 5th and 6th. Mike Lewis is 7th. Mike Davis is 8th. Let's take another look at that move by Graf as they head into the backstretch to take the measure of Randy Ruhlman and grab 3rd spot. 3 laps are complete. We'll be right back with more here on Speed. Welcome back on Speed. The streets of Long Beach, the season opener for the Trans Am Series in 2005. It's the Cytomax Challenge. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, Jan Beekes, and Calvin Fish on pit road. While we were away, a lead change. Paul Gentilozzi worked on pole sitter Greg Pickett for several laps. Derek, he snuck by just a moment ago, and Gentilozzi's out in front as we put lap 8 on the board.
And it was the end of the backstraight in the brake zone. But the man who's been on the move is that man right there, the second Rocket Sports run car, Klaus Graf from Germany. Now has passed our pole sitter, Greg Pickett, in the Cytomax car. And Graf he has closed up 10 seconds on Paul Gentilozzi. Gentilozzi's last lap was the 24.7, and Graf was a 23.7, so he ran a second a lap faster for the last 2 laps. Jan?
When you talk about running 1 second faster, Derek, one of the things the engineers and crew chiefs are all saying is this race comes down to saving the tires. So when you all of a sudden see a guy popping those kind of laps, everyone up and down pit road seems to think you have to be really, really cautious to keep the tires underneath the car for the end of the race. You just have to really, really hold back at this stages of the race.
And that's how last year's race unfolded, because Greg Pickett took good care of his tires and came on like gangbusters towards the end of the race. And the most aggressive man right now, Klaus Graf, he's never done this before. He's never driven a Trans Am, never driven on these BF Goodrich tires, so he is in for a learning curve here. And will he push his boss Gentilozzi, because it looks like he's got a draft and he's going to go down the inside of the brake zone.
Klaus Graf bidding for the lead, going down the main stretch, and he may have it. Graf puts the 7 car out in front of the boss. Gentilozzi shuffled back to 2nd.
Well, what do we have here? Move over, boss. We have somebody really, really fast here. Interesting that Gentilozzi said he will not do the full season this year. A couple of records, Rick, that he wants to try and break.
He was going today for the outright career win mark. He and Mark Donohue tied with 29 career Trans Am victories starting the season. Paul told me the other day, he said, I'm going to try to run 3 races this year, reach 200 career starts, try to get 1 more victory and break the record I share with Mark, and then call it a career as a driver and run Rocket Sports and assist with managing the Champ Car World Series.
Which isn't a bad plan.
We shall see. Greg Pickett, meantime, in 3rd spot, the pole sitter. We saw Joey Scarallo a few moments ago. He got sideways in the 06, his Corvette. He's gone to pit road. Calvin, what's wrong?
Well, he made a quick pit stop. He got into the tires, Rick, damaged the front end. The racer tape went to work and they sent him back underway. But look here, a lot of water on the ground following that stop. I don't think the engine was overheating. I got a good feeling that radiator might have got some damage as well. This car's run by Tony Ave this year. New prep shop that he's got down in North Carolina, and he's doing a great job, but it must be frustrating for him. Remember, he's been a front runner in this series himself as a driver.
Absolutely. Tony Ave, a guy who's driven a lot of different cars. He's won in USAC Midgets. Very strong in the ARCA Remax Stock Car Series a couple of years ago. A couple of top 5 finishes there, and a very accomplished road racer. Here's Scarallo in the 06 back on the racetrack with the duct tape, with the racer tape, holding the nose piece back on that Corvette.
Very much in kit form. Needs to make sure he doesn't hit anything else, or that race tape's not going to hang on. In fact, it's not even hanging on as it is. Very much a family-backed operation here for Joey. They don't really have the budget to run at the front here in Trans Am.
Had a good year last year. He had teamed up with John Bauckham of Charlotte. Even though the cars weren't painted the same, and Bauckham's car's a Mustang, they worked together out of the same shop in the 06, and Joey showed a lot of improvement. This year, he's aligned himself with Tony Ave, as we mentioned, and Ave, a very accomplished racer. But so far today, they have had a difficult first outing in 2005. What about Boris Said? Pole sitter, quick qualifier, started 5th with the inversion today. Boris had to go to the rear after cutting a tire on lap 1. Some contact back there. Boris has advanced to 14th, but still a long way back. He is on the lead lap. He's over a minute behind. A caution would help Boris terrifically.
And there goes Graf. You just saw him go out of your shot. He is still running about a half a second a lap faster than Gentilozzi and Greg Pickett, who are running exactly the same lap times. One's a tiny bit quicker one lap, the other a bit quicker the next lap. So they're pretty even. And you can see that Randy Ruhlman now has pulled himself up at the back of Greg Pickett. So Pickett gets blocked in traffic there. Did Ruhlman get by?
Not quite.
No.
Watching Klaus Graf is the race leader. Paul Gentilozzi is second. Pickett is third. Ruhlman is fourth. Some of the GTA machines in the field here today, quite a bit slower than the Trans Am legal machines. And some of the GTO. One car went off. Did Gentilozzi go off at the end of the corner, at the end of the straightaway there?
Yes.
Looks like he did. Thought we caught a glimpse of the Jaguar, the number 1, off into the tires. Paul using the escape route. And that is the 7 of Graf, the race leader.
What?
So Klaus Graf must have had a problem. He missed the corner completely.
When Tommy Kendall drove this car last year, one of the weaknesses were the brakes. If you really stood on the brakes, sometimes they would overheat. The lap before this, we saw Graf jump on the brakes and blue smoke came out of the tires or out of the brakes. Maybe.
See what happens here as they come up onto the backstretch. The Jags running 1-2.
Oh, yeah. Slow. Oh, yeah.
Now, the other Achilles heel, Derek, as you'll remember, the Jaguar motor with the 4 valves per cylinder, the smaller engine, overheated quite often last year.
Yeah, I don't see smoke from this. I don't see. It's not overheating, but something serious has broken. What a shame for Klaus Graf. So much experience in a full-bodied car in Germany, but we don't know what's wrong with this yet. Calvin, any idea?
Well, the team is saying they believe he's got some kind of gearbox problem. When he went to downshift, something broke in the transmission, so his day may be done. But a strong showing by Klaus. He'll come back, but disappointing start to his season.
Klaus Graf from 8th on the grid to grab the lead before 10 laps were on the board, but his day ends early on the streets of Long Beach. Gentilozzi is back in the lead. We'll be back. Take you back and show you some of the action earlier on lap 5. Greg Pickett was the pole sitter, but he gave up the lead to Paul Gentilozzi. Paul with an inside move heading down into one of the right-hand turns here. 4 laps later, Klaus Graf, who started 8th, really rolling from midway in the grid, got going down the front straightaway, dove inside Gentilozzi down into turn 1. Graf took the lead and started to drive away, but just a couple of laps later, something broke in the gearbox of car number 7. And one of the Jaguars is behind the wall and done for the day. And that's put Gentilozzi back in front. He's got a 3.3-second lead over Greg Pickett, as we see Graf there earlier with his gearbox problem drove the car down one of the escape roads here in Long Beach. So Gentilozzi is out in front. Pickett is second. He's got his mirrors full. Randy Ruhlman is right there. Good battle for second spot. Let's find out more about what happened to Klaus Graf's car down the pit road.
Yes, you just mentioned that. He just came walking up pit road, a long walk. What happened to the car, Klaus?
I don't know exactly, but the oil pressure dropped, so engine problem, and I stopped there because it started to sound rough. So I stopped, and it's a shame. Really, I had a really good car and worked my way through the field, and I mean the Jaguar was running great, and I had it under control really. So it's really a shame.
What were your thoughts being out in the front and being what appeared to be comfortably in the lead? Surprised you with your very first time here in Trans Am?
Yeah, I mean. We got the car really well to work, even though we had some trouble in practice. But the car was handling well. I was just in my rhythm, not pushing too hard or anything. I was controlling it really, and it's really a shame. It would have been a really easy one, I think.
All right, best of luck next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calvin?
Well, another guy who's in his rhythm right now is Randy Ruhlman, and his car is run by the veteran Trans Am driver and car owner, Jim Durhug. Jim, you have a strategy for these street races on how you set the car up. Tell us about that and how's it coming together?
Well, Calvin, it only pays on the last lap, so sometimes our car is a little bit tight in the beginning, but at the end we've usually got a little better grip than everybody in the back, and then sometimes it pays off. If we don't get a yellow, we should be looking really good.
Okay, well, they typically see that car loosen up. We got a bit of push initially, hoping that the balance comes together and Randy Ruhlman can get that first Trans Am victory.
Now Randy Ruhlman coming up on 150 career starts later this season. Never has been to victory lane. Had some top 2s, top 3s last year, one of his best years ever in the series, driving the Preform Line Products Corvette for veteran Jim Durhak. He's third right now. I think he needs to clear Pickett if he's going to have a shot here, Derek.
I think so. Randy Ruhlman has been so close.
Yeah.
He's almost, you can almost feel or taste the champagne of victory here. I'd like to see him get a win, but he needs to clear Pickett. You're right. Gentilozzi is now about 3.5 seconds clear. We're into lap 20, so we're not quite halfway. Ooh, there goes Pickett down the inside. This traffic really is coming up in interesting times as these boys lap some of these cars.
That's Monica Colvin in the 08. She is running to GT1 specifications, back in 18th position. The car very much like the other GTA machinery in the field. Riding with Tommy Dreese, the Sahara helmet cam. And a reminder, on speed, be sure if you prefer 2 wheels to 4, pull over for some motorcycle action with Michelle Smith and American Thunder. American Thunder is Tuesday nights at 8, and it's only here on Speed.
Tommy Dreese got himself in trouble earlier. We saw him run a bit slow. He has hit somebody. There are tire marks down the left front corner of this, what is usually an immaculate Jaguar. Sahara is a movie, obviously.
Yeah.
Didn't he build movie sets or something?
Tommy does promotional work for film companies, and that's where his sponsorship comes from. He makes the stand-up cards and things like that at his company in Hollywood that promote movies.
You can see he ran it right into the back of somebody. Look, there's a lot of damage on both sides. Great picture there of the front of the Jag, but quite a bit of heavy damage. You can see there he ran smack into the back of somebody. Maybe it was a tire wall.
Tommy has one career Trans Am victory. It was here 5 years ago. He was the 2000 winner of the Grand Prix of Long Beach for the Trans Am Challenge. One of the drivers behind the wall too early is Mike Davis. Jan Bikas has more.
Yes, unfortunately, trouble for Boris early on. Then now for the team car, Mike Davis will put you out.
I think a broken axle. The car's been running great all weekend. Crew's done a phenomenal job, and everything ran fine. And all of a sudden, it just snapped. And I don't know. I think we broke an axle. We don't have the wherewithal to fix it and get back in the race. So, you know, cars are made out of parts and they break, and unfortunately it broke at the wrong time.
Now, you were very frustrated when you got out of the car. Is that just the adrenaline and wanting to stay out there, or is this something else related to that?
I think we broke in a similar way in Oregon last year, and I was a little annoyed that, you know, one time a problem happens, the second time the same problem happens is very frustrating. And I know the crew does their best and they do a great job, but you know, the emotions and the frustration got a little the best of me, and I kind of blew up.
No problem. Good to see you next time.
Thank you.
Little contact there at turn 11. Paul Gentilozzi and the Jaguar, the race leader, lapping one of the slower GTA cars. Little contact in the turn.
I'm not sure he actually made contact, but he swerved out of the way to the left side, lost all his momentum coming off the hairpin, and his 2.5 second lead over Greg Pickett now suddenly goes down to 1.1 seconds. But Greg Pickett now needs to clear this slower traffic here, not to let Gentilozzi get away back up to that 2.5+ seconds of a lead. He doesn't clear him yet. Look.
If you get stuck behind a slower car through the twisty bits, it's very hard to pass in some of these places.
Almost impossible when you run between the confines of these concrete walls.
Well, Gentilozzi leads Pickett, Randy Ruhlman, John Bauckham, and Tommy Dreese. The first car in GTA is Barber. We'll be back. Back on Speed, battling for second, the Trans Am season opener through the streets of Long Beach with Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, Randy Ruhlman, and Greg Pickett. And Greg Pickett has just moved to second spot. Ruhlman had that position by a whisker when they came over the stripe last time. Take a look at the battle side by side. We'll roll back just a few moments and have a look at these two drivers side by side heading to one.
And it looks here as if Greg Pickett does have the clear line. Randy Ruhlman brakes later. It looks like he now has the advantage. Pickett brakes later again, turns into the apex, and just about hangs on to that second place. But we have now gone full course yellow.
With 27 laps complete, 18 to go. This is exactly what Boris said needed. We hadn't had a chance to update you on Boris' tire very early and had to pit and nearly lost a lap. Paul Gentilozzi remains leader, but this will bunch up the pack. Boris will restart in 7th spot when we get ready to go green after cleaning this one up. Calvin Fish, as we watch the one of Gentilozzi, what's Boris' situation?
Well, he's trying to recover from that puncture early on and certainly done a great job, but he really needs a yellow badly, and and we may be seeing some action on the track may give him that, but he's certainly got a busy schedule coming up. We all know Boris, he loves to race every week. Next week he's going to attempt the Nextel Cup at Texas. Week after that he's over in Germany for 4 hours at the Nürburgring, back to Talladega for another cup race, and then the 24 hours at the ring. So just a normal month in the life of Boris Saad. Let's get down to Jan Bakers.
And you can hear a rough sounding engine here of Max. Whoa, some big time water coming off here, some overheating issues it appears for Max Lagat. Was running pretty well, but now lots of water coming from the top here, and there's the international sign for shut this thing down. We have a big problem.
I'd say use the international sign for don't take that radiator cap off.
Really? That could be a bad situation there when you see the geysers starting to come out of the overflow like that. Max Lagat from Barrington, Illinois, Trans Am Series veteran, puts the visor up. His dad is the crew chief. They rebodied that car to Corvette specs a couple of seasons ago. Very pretty race car. Never really competitive here today. He was in the top 10, about 8th spot when they had that motor problem a few moments ago. Full course caution. Still haven't learned what the reason for the caution flag is here at Long Beach. We want to update you on the GTA standings. A new move this year by the Trans Am Tour to invite the GTA cars here on the West Coast to come and compete. There were more than 10 of them in the field here. I'm going to show you the leaders. That 63 is one of the cars in competition this weekend as the field gets shuffled just a little bit right now. Tim Barber in the 63. In fact, that black Pontiac is the leader in that category, and there will be a separate class win for GTA, and right now it is Barber. Calvin, tell us more about GTA.
Well, they're pretty much a two-frame chassis. They run on Goodyear tires, unlike the rest of the field here, obviously on the BFGs. But for Tim Barber, he's a very strong young driver. He actually dominated this GTA division back in 2001, winning 11 of 13 races. And along the way, he's done a lot of open wheel stuff. Russell Mazda, Trans-Am 1600. So it's no surprise to see him totally at home on the streets of Long Beach.
And if you're a fan of late model stock car racing, these cars look awfully familiar because they are basically an ASA type late model car. Gentilozzi is still the leader, 17 laps to go. We're under caution at Long Beach. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed, the Trans Am Cytomax Challenge, the season opener for 2005. Good to have you with us this afternoon. For Derek Daly, Iverick Benjamin, Jan Beekes, and Calvin Fisher on pit road. Full course caution about to come to an end. The safety car ready to dive for pit road. Paul Gentilozzi, Greg Pickett, Randy Ruhlman, and Tommy Dreese, the top four. John Bauckham, Mike Lewis, and Boris Said. We're back underway. 13 laps to go as they come to the stripe.
Boris Said just sailed by Mike Lewis. It just seemed to get a terrible start off that hairpin corner. But the key is at the top of the field here. Greg Pickett now in the Cytomax car. Can he hang on to Paul Gentilozzi and do what he did last year? Challenge and maybe this year win this thing.
Tire management is key. We're getting down to the last 30 miles or so here at Long Beach today. Who's got more rubber left on those rear tires?
And John Bauckham is right behind Tommy Dreese. There he is right there in the Mustang. Boris Said now begins to become a realistic threat, but can he make his way past all of the cars to get towards Gentilozzi or Pickett?
If you're just joining us, Boris was the fast qualifier this weekend in the ACS Mustang. He was hoping to get up behind Paul Gentilozzi, who started third. They invert the top five, so Boris lined up fifth, but 2 laps in, he had a cut tire, had to come to pit road. It dropped him nearly a full lap down. This full course yellow has enabled him to catch the leaders.
And the cut tire was because he went inside Randy Ruhlman, banged off the side of him at the first corner. That gave him the puncture toward the valve at the side of the tire. That sent him to the pit lane. But this is a real good street fight now because the first 6, 7 cars are all in a line here.
Greg Pickett in second spot, Randy Ruhlman in third, Tommy Dreese, Bauckham sideways, Boris trying to squirt to the inside and get around Bauckham.
Not a good position off that hairpin for Boris Said, but the leader still Paul Gentilozzi pulling away. Calvin?
Well, a quick update on the leaders and the situation in the race cars. Paul Gentilozzi told his crew, I've got brakes, I've got tyres left. His biggest question was, where is Boris and how quick is he? So obviously they're watching the monitors, trying to keep Paul updated. For Greg Pickett, he said the car's gone a little bit loose, but I feel fine. I've got good brakes, I'm going to try and go to the front.
Pickett in second. Started on the pole here, and problems again for Boris Said. The ACS 33 has gone off behind the wall, and it looks as though the Nextel Cup Rookies Challenge today will come to a halt before the checkered flag. He's got another tire down. Look at that. He's got a bent rim this time. So problems again for Boris Said, down to Jan Beekes.
With his crew chief, second time today, wheel and tire issues. What happened here?
I don't know. I don't know if he clipped the wall down there coming out of the hairpin or what. He was just trying his hardest to get some, make some positions in the end here. And Boris, he's going to drive 100%, and just one of those unfortunate things. So I don't know that we can. There's no way we can recover from this thing. We're going to try, but.
All righty, we'll bring him in and he'll. Who knows? Maybe another full course caution. They're not saying they're done yet.
12 laps to go. We saw what happened, Derek Daly.
Now we know why he looks so bad off that hairpin. Got boxed in, but you can see from our overhead camera here, look, he hits John Bokum right there, little tap, turns inside, concrete wall, boom, breaks the rim on the right rear. He broke.
Those aluminum rims don't like contact with concrete very much at all. That's turn 11, the hairpin at the head of the front straightaway. Boris went off the track behind the wall. They must have told him on the radio, bring it back around. We'll change it and try to get you back out there.
And they've also told Paul Gentilozzi that Boris Said, the man with the big mouth, made the big mistake, hit the wall. Now all he's got to do is worry about Greg Pickett.
Well, he made two of them, really, because he cut the tire the first time with contact with Ruhlman.
Absolutely. Self-inflicted wounds here for Boris Said. So Gentilozzi, Pickett, and Randy Ruhlman now can pretty much fight this thing out among themselves, except Dreesy is right there with Randy Ruhlman.
Coming up 10 laps to go next time by, and Boris needs to get that 33 car to pit road because he's doing some damage to the bodywork now, and he's going to take the early in to pit road. Jan Beekes, he is headed your way slowly because it looks as though he's close to rolling the tire off the rim.
We'll watch for him as he comes down. Of course, at the same time, we're watching the big screen. And unfortunately for Boris Said, it certainly appears as though he will not be able to stay on the lead lap. They will go ahead and check the car over and change this right rear tire. But his chances of victory, there go the leaders down the front straightaway. So now it's basically just seeing if they can collect a few points. In fact, you can tell by the demeanor of the crew here, they're not even going to bother to change this tire. They've seen more damage than just a tire and a wheel.
Body damage and more. Boris is unbuckled and climbs out of the Mustang. Now we had a report out on the course a moment ago that perhaps Gentilozzi's car was showing some smoke. Greg Pickett has reeled him right in there.
And he's off. Pickett leads. This is
Gentilozzi
exactly
into the wall.
Pickett did last year.
Gentilozzi hit the tires. The Jaguar of champion Paul Gentilozzi is into the tire barrier. That will be one he will not be able to recover from. Paul Gentilozzi right off the racetrack into the wall. Calvin Fish.
Well, I just checked in with his son, Tony Gentilozzi. I said, we're seeing smoke. What's the problem? He said, well, he's lost the power steering, so maybe he just lost the steering there as he tried to turn into that corner.
Oh, he's lost more than power steering now, Calvin. The front of the car is absolutely smashed. Smashed in. He went straight in. He is trying to drive back. We saw him come out of the fountains. Greg Pickett right behind him. He jumps on the brakes, never even turns the wheel, and just goes wallop straight into the tire wall.
Well, you pointed out how last year brakes were one of the Achilles heels potentially for these Jaguar XJ8s. Gentilozzi headed back to the pits. We'll take a quick timeout. Late race drama in the Trans Am Cytomax Challenge here on Speed. Season opener at Long Beach. Greg Pickett has taken the lead back. Moments ago, Paul Gentilozzi had problems. His Jaguar pounding the tire barrier. He is behind the wall and done for the day, it appears. And now it's Pickett. His mirror's full. Randy Ruhlman, Tommy Dreesy. Three drivers extremely hungry for a win. Pickett hasn't won in 13 years. Ruhlman's never won. For Dreesy, it's been 5 years.
And look at Dreesy sideways off the right-hander onto this back straight. Look, he believes he can come down the inside maybe of Randy Ruhlman, or at least pressure him into a potential mistake. So, with precious few laps to go here, can Greg Pickett hang on? This will be a huge celebration if Greg Pickett can win this thing.
Greg Pickett is the former champion way back in the 70s. He could be the first driver to win a race in 4 different decades. Let's find out more about what happened to race leader Paul Gentilozzi. Calvin Fish.
Well, it's a very second-hand looking Jag that's pulled into pit lane here. Paul Gentilozzi going for the record. Paul, what happened there? What took you off course?
Well, I lost the power steering just after the yellow started, and it just locked up on me. Got an airlock and wouldn't turn.
Well, the crew are going to look at this thing, see if they can get him back on track, but a lot of front-end damage. I think their day is done, boys.
Tough break indeed for Paul Gentilozzi. He had the lead twice now. A Rocket Sports car's been in front today and has had mechanical problems, Derek.
Right, and now the Jag is still leading, though. Can Greg Pickett hang on? And ironically, the Cytomax supported and backed sponsored race here with the Cytomax car leading. You know what Cytomax is?
It's a supplement, a muscle supplement.
Yes, it is. They say it's the world's most advanced sports drink, and now he's in trouble.
Randy Ruhlman out dragging Pickett down the backstretch. You're watching from Tommy Dreese, who runs third. Ruhlman takes the lead.
Oh, Pickett down the inside of the brake zone. Can he make it stick? No, Ruhlman is still leading.
Randy Ruhlman and Jim Durhag's Chevrolet trying to win his first Trans Am race ever.
Durhag told us earlier on they set their cars up to run fast in the last part of the race. That seems to be what's happening right here with that Corvette.
Randy Ruhlman from Greensboro, North Carolina, the Freeform Line Products Chevrolet. He's been at this game an awfully long time, closing in on 150 career starts, never to victory lane. He's got 5 laps to go. Meantime, the other driver we expected to challenge today is downstairs, Calvin.
And Boris said, that's all right. Boris, you're watching this very carefully on the big screen. Who's your pick to win this? It's very tight.
Well, sentimentally, I'd love to see Greg Pickett win it. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys, the whole family, and, you know, Cytomax is a great sports drink, so I hope he wins it.
What happened down there in the hairpin?
You know, unfortunately, I just got behind at the start, you know, starting 5th. I got into Randy Ruhlman, got a flat tire, we were behind, and we were waiting for that yellow. We finally got the yellow, and then I made a driver error, and I was charging hard, and I just clipped the wall trying to get under the yellow Mustang. So pilot error, it happens every once in a while.
Every once in a while, DeBoris said, but not too often. Enjoy the finish of this race. It should be a good one.
On board with Tommy Dreese, running in 3rd spot, heading down the backstretch one more time, coming up 4 laps to go. Ruhlman is the leader. While we have a second, a reminder that Wednesdays on Speed, it's build or bust. To build a dream bike, it takes more than a big idea. It takes speed and nerves of steel. Don't miss build or bust. Wednesday nights at 8, only here on Speed. Well, it's been win or bust for several of the hot, fast cars here today, Derek Daly.
It really has, and it is not over yet. Greg Pickett is trying all he can to hold off the advances of Tommy Dreese, who appears to maybe be a little bit quicker. But Randy Ruhlman, what a day this could end up being for him. He has never won a Trans Am race. We talked about it earlier and how close he was. We didn't even think it might turn out to be his successful day today, but it could well be if he can hang on here.
Started on the outside pole, got shuffled back to 4th in the first couple of corners. He has patiently hung right in there, taking advantage of ill fortune that's befallen Klaus Graf and then Paul Gentilozzi. Of course, Boris said not around to contend today because he's had 2 incidents on the racetrack. Ruhlman got by Greg Pickett on the backstretch a moment ago. Now it's that time of the race, Derek. It's the end of a long, warm day here in Long Beach. A lot of cars have run on this track. Pickett starting to smoke a little. Pretty slick at this stage with 3 to go.
And look at the Jags here. They're both siders trying to hang on to this 2nd position. Calvin?
Well, an interested spectator is Randy Ruhlman's wife, Christy. Let's have a quick word with you, honey. You've been waiting a long time to try and see this first victory, nearly 150 starts for Randy. What would it mean today if he can pull it off?
It would mean so much. We are starting this year where we finished last year in 3rd, and this would mean so much to our sponsor, Freeform Line Products, and they're 100% behind us. We've got guests here. It'll mean so much to them, but also to Randy and to me. It's great.
You can hear the emotion in the voice. 3 laps to go. The fingers are going to be crossed.
Now, Christy Ruhlman, one of the wonderful people in the Trans Am Series family, and she indeed has waited a long time and has supported Randy's career for many years. We'll see if he can close the deal next. Closing in on 2 laps to go in the streets of Long Beach, the Trans Am Series season opener for 2005. Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, Jan Beekes, Calvin Fish on pit road. As the laps wind down, Derek, checking the record books here, it's been 2 years since a Chevrolet has won a Trans Am race, so Randy Ruhlman and Jim Durhag can change a lot of history here today.
Exactly. Jim Durhag knows what it's like to win these races. Randy Ruhlman has never been in this position before. I bet you there are shivers running up and down his spine right now at the thoughts of winning the big one. This is the biggest Trans Am event of the year here on the streets of Long Beach, and he just looks strong. He looks in control. He is the fastest car on the racetrack right now, which is a perfect position to be in with only 2 laps to go.
Tommy Dreese seemingly in similar shape to what his two teammates faced. Looks as though he's running out of brakes too.
Yeah, something broken there. Very slow. So Greg Pickett now loses Tommy Dreese from his rear view mirrors, but I don't think Pickett has anything else for Randy Ruhlman. Ruhlman just looks as if he has the speed to win this event.
Could be a tire problem, perhaps. Looks like part of the fender has come apart on the right front corner. He may have a tire shredding.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what's going on. Whether he hit somebody or not, I don't know. But that car is slowly breaking up as he makes his way slowly, somewhat slowly back to pit lane. Mike Lewis now about to pass him.
Lewis on the outside will move to fourth spot. Great story for Mike Lewis, the Trans Am veteran from San Diego, the Autocon car. A year ago, if you were with us at Road America in Wisconsin, that car burned to the ground. It's the same race car.
Huge fire, and there's nothing more destructive than fire for racing cars. You have to almost replace everything. I'm surprised that it even survived.
1 lap to go for Randy Ruhlman. White flag in the air as Ruhlman came over the stripe. John Bauckham now has moved up. He and Mike Lewis taking advantage of Tommy Dreese's problem. Lewis to third, Bauckham to fourth. That'll put Phil Simms up into fifth. He's on his way to what I believe will be his best ever finish in Trans Am. Jim Durhog Chevrolet, the preformed line products, 49. For the veteran driver from Greensboro. Greg Pickett out of California, car number 6, appears to be on his way to a runner-up finish, but we've seen fortunes change dramatically several times here today, Derek.
There's wife Christy watching the big screen TV. She sees herself on television. She will be in tears. That lady will be in tears. She is a gem of a person, so supportive of her husband Randy, who's been close before, but never at an event this big. This will be a great celebration for that family if he can just make this last 3 or 4 corners.
You've got several drivers in line for their best career finishes today, including John Bauckham. His best previous finish was 6th. Right now, Bauckham sits 4th out of Charlotte, North Carolina in that Ford, the number 86. Randy Ruhlman a couple of turns from home in Durhog's 49 car. Heading to turn 11 here at Long Beach. Great crowd on hand, wrapping up the Grand Prix of Long Beach weekend. And here comes Randy Ruhlman heading for home. His first career victory after 140-plus starts. Ruhlman is your winner.
Good job.
Greg Pickett comes home in second spot. Mike Lewis will take third. Bauckham, Phil Simms, and Tommy Dreese the top 6. Dreese, with problems late, is able to get the car home. So Randy Ruhlman wins the Trans Am Cytomax Challenge. We will take a timeout and come back for Victory Lane ceremonies here in Long Beach. Welcome back at Long Beach. Victory Lane ceremonies about to unfold for a driver who has just won his first career Trans Am event. The 40-year history of this series. Randy Ruhlman's been at this a long time. Calvin Fish, what a day for Randy Ruhlman.
It is, and it's a family affair. His wife is here, Christy Ruhlman, coming in to congratulate him. He's struggling a bit here with the hands device. It's probably the biggest problem he's had all day. What a performance here for Randy Ruhlman. So many days, he's come so close. Had 3 podium finishes last year, and finally he gets that goose egg off the record and gets that first Trans Am victory. And Randy,
Woo! Yes.
how about it, buddy? You're a Trans Am winner now. Calvin, you cannot believe how good this feels, Calvin. It's
about time.
Man. Boris said, has a way with words. Calvin, talk about the last few laps once you had the lead.
Well, you know, it's hard to keep your concentration when they're winding down the laps, and Greg being in front of me was making it easy to keep my focus because I just had to keep hounding on him and hounding on him. When I got in the clear, then I really had to pick it up mentally because I started making little mistakes and they're calling out the times to me, and I just knew it was coming, but the closer it came, the farther that checkered was away. And it's just great to have it now. We've been working for this so long, and hooking up with Jim Durhog the past 3 years has been the best thing that's happened to me. That monkey's off my back, and we're on our way, and we're looking forward to a great season.
A lot of emotion there. He's out of breath. We'll let him go. What a day for Randy Ruhlman and the Durhog team.
A terrific run for Ruhlman. He and his wife Christy celebrating a victory lane. First win for Jim Durhog in a long time as an owner. First Chevrolet win in more than 2 seasons. Pickett runs second in front of Michael Lewis, John Bauckham, and Phil Simms. Tommy Dreese gets 6th with late tire problems, Derek Daly. Joey Scarallo, Steve Kelso was first in the GTA category. Monica Colvin first in the GT1 category. Steve Schmaltz gets 11th. Paul Gentilozzi, Boris said back 13th to 14th. You don't expect that.
No, the type of speed they had, if they had been able to run at the front, we would have had a really, really super street fight. But I think to see Randy Ruhlman, there's not many people in the paddock would not want to see this man finally win a Trans Am. I mean, there's the type of emotion you need to have at the end of a motor race. Great day.
Great gentleman of the sport, and it's good to see him come to victory lane. We appreciate Randy's competitive nature and the great drive he turned in today. For Derek Daly, Jan Beekes, and Calvin Fish, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for joining us today for the season opener for the Trans Am Tour. Next up, the series moves to Portland in June. We congratulate Randy Ruhlman. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.